بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي.
Hello students, in this lecture we will talk about attention, its different types and psychology of attention. The word attention is not new for you. You have heard it in the classroom when your teacher says, pay attention. And in response, what will you do? You just try to keep silent and try to focus on what the teacher is saying or showing to you. If you try to find out the meanings of attention in an English dictionary or some synonyms of attention, you will find out that attention means to notice something. It means to be aware of something, to observe something or someone. It is about your conscious noticing of something, and it is about your concentration. So you see, all these words are about the process that brings things or people in your conscious notice. And of course, there may be several reasons for this, such as your expectations, your motivation, your interest, and also your needs. Let us think for a while. Is it possible that we can pay attention to everything, whatever we see and whatever we hear? Answer is no. Okay, if we cannot hear everything, or we cannot observe everything, or we cannot pay attention towards everything, it means that we are being selective in attention. Okay, it is all right. Then what are the conditions that move us to pay attention towards certain sounds, pictures, or other things? This is an important question. What are the conditions that trigger our selective attention? And in this lecture, we are going to study about the psychology of attention, and we will see how this happens. In your everyday life, you see several things, but you do not notice all of them. Similarly, you hear several sounds, but you do not pay attention to all the sounds. You only pay attention to something that you want to attend or something that triggers your interest. Or maybe there is something that motivates you to pay attention. Let's take an example from your textbook. Crystal, during a walk on the beach, attends to various objects. Some of the objects are in her overt attention, that is, looking out the side of the eye. Some of the objects are in her overt attention, when she moves her eyes to look at something. But some of the objects are in her selective attention because she is focusing on that object. This is her divided attention experience. What do you think about her selective attention? Well, William James provides us one of the earliest statements about selective attention. He says, it is the taking possession by the mind in a clear and vivid form of one's several simultaneously possible objects. It implies withdrawal from some things in order to deal effectively with others. It implies withdrawal from some things in order to deal effectively with others. Another earlier idea about selective attention is to filter. Filter is to act on incoming information, keeping some information out and letting some information in for further processing. Let us see another experiment that deals with verbal messages. In a dichotic listening experiment, different messages are presented to the two ears of the participants. They are instructed to pay attention to the message presented to one ear, that is the attended message, repeating it out loud as they are hearing it, and to ignore the message presented to the other ear, that is unattended message. The process of repeating the attended message loud is called shadowing. After repeated experiments, it was noted that messages were well received in the memory, those were attended, whereas the unattended messages were either not received in the memory or they are incomplete or vague. These early experiments provided the filter model of attention. As you can see here, you receive information from the sensory memory, filter works, and you detect the attended messages with its meanings, and then they are sent to the memory. Well, here I am leaving a question connected with this discussion for you. What is cocktail party effect? What is cocktail party effect? Please explore and see how it is connected with this phenomena. Now we will proceed towards types of attention. There are different types of attentions. I have uploaded an interesting article on LMS and you will also get it on Microsoft Teams. This article is easy read for you. You are required to read the relevant content from the article. In this lecture, we will discuss 4 major types of the attention here. First is selective attention, that we have already discussed. In short, it is to focus on something or someone for different reasons while intentionally or unintentionally ignoring several other objects or persons that your senses receive simultaneously. Second type is divided attention. This is about attending multiple things at once, such as you are talking on phone and watching TV, and at the same time you are supervising a child playing around you. So you have a divided attention. Divided attention is difficult, but with age, exposure, and experience, you manage to do it. Third is sustained attention. Sustained attention is about your attention span, how long you can pay attention to one thing. Your prolonged attention and concentration without losing focus is sustained attention. Attention span varies with your cognitive ability that you use to focus on some task, and the environment, in the nature of the task, in the motivation, importance, and the requirement for the task. So all these things contribute in your attention span. For example, you are given a task to observe people in a shopping mall. What makes you sustain your attention? Fourth type is executive attention. Executive attention is to pay attention to what really matters for you and blocking all other attentions. For example, your ability to focus on your goals, projects, progress, and performance is an example of executive attention. If you are good at executive attention, I mean you are focusing on your most important goals and at the same time blocking all unimportant things, features, environments, and distractors, you are most likely to reach your target successfully. After discussing these types of attention and how people can have different levels of attention, I will ask you to read and explore cognitive resources and cognitive loads from your textbook. This will help you to learn how people can have different levels of attention. Let us discuss now about flanker compatibility task. This task is about the ability to practice cognitive control by ignoring the irrelevant and attending the relevant stimuli. One of its real-life example is driving a car. In some countries, you must do a right-hand drive, and in other countries the left hand drive. If you are not used to do left hand drive, you have to put effort and pay attention, right? So your cognitive control, you gain it by ignoring the irrelevant and attending the relevant stimuli. This is called flanker compatibility task. In the flanker task, in this lecture you will see a simple experiment that you can conduct with the children. Children will see 5 fishes in a line on the screen. They have to press left and right button on the keyboard, noticing the direction of the middle fish. Children will most likely do this task comparatively effortlessly when all the fishes are in the same direction. However, they will have to put extra effort and attention when the 5 fishes on the screen are not in the same direction. For older children or adults, you may ask for more difficult tasks. Here in 2 videos, you will see these experiments. First experiment is about flanker task for kids, and in second experiment, you will see Stroop effect and flanker task. You are also supposed to read the relevant text from your book. You have already studied about Stroop effect. Hope you will follow the relevant text in the chapter. So, here you go.
Hello everyone, I'm John Stroop. Today I will be talking about the experiment that I conducted in 1935 for my PhD thesis. This is now known as the Stroop Test. The aim of this experiment was to demonstrate the effect of a distraction on the reaction time of a task. Here's a short clip of how I amazingly conducted the experiment.
For this first task, I want you to just read the words that are written on the sheet of paper.
Red, yellow, blue, purple, white, orange, black, red, white, orange,
green, and pink.
So now I want you to read the colors of the words that I've written on here.
orange, purple, green, blue, red, pink, black, yellow, gray.
I want you to read the colors of the words and not the word itself, so just the colors.
Blue, red, orange, purple, yellow, black,
Pink, orange, brown.
Yellow, blue, red, green, purple.
Yellow, black, pink, red, brown.
So let me explain to you how the test worked. As you saw, the test consisted of 3 stimuli: a neutral stimuli, a congruent stimuli, and an incongruent stimuli. The neutral stimuli that I presented was when the words were written in a plain black color and the participants were asked to simply read the words. The congruent stimuli was when the words were written in their own colors and the participants were asked to determine the color of the words. And the incongruent stimuli was when the word was written in a color that didn't match its name and the participants were asked to determine the color of the word. From this test, I found that the reaction time was much longer for the incongruent stimuli, and participants made many more mistakes than they made in the neutral or congruent stimuli. This is what I proudly call the Stroop effect.
Hey everyone, my name is Charles Erickson, and in 1974 I conducted the Erickson flanker task. Here is a quick clip of participants doing a modern version of the task. So what is the flanker task all about? In a trial, their participants were presented with 5 letters at a time, and they were supposed to respond to the one in the middle. If they saw an X or a C, they would press the left key, and if they saw a V or a B, they would press the right key. The subjects were shown 2 types of stimuli. The irrelevant stimuli is where the letters were inconsistent, and the relevant stimuli where the letters were consistent. The test revealed that the responses are faster for the relevant stimuli than the irrelevant stimuli. The difference between the reaction times is called the Erickson effect or the flanker effect.
Now we will talk a bit about divided attention and automatic processing. Divided attention is about paying attention to different tasks simultaneously. For example, if you are asked to hold a number in your memory, and then you are shown a number of frames with distractors and asked you to see if the number you already have in your memory is present in any of these frames. What will happen? You will experience the divided attention. You are focusing on the number that you were asked to hold and check. At the same time, you are shown several frames rapidly with the distractors that are not the numbers. But in 1 or 2 of the frames, you are able to see the number you are holding in your memory. This way of presenting stimuli is called consistent mapping condition. You can also practice this presenting stimuli with varying mapping conditions. What will you learn? Which mapping causes more effort in attending different tasks simultaneously? I will leave this question here for you. Following images are from your textbook and you will quickly understand what I mean when you read it. I will suggest you read carefully and find real life examples, better from your own life. You should think about the divided attention, the multitasking you do, and the automatic processing and controlled processing. However, you will be able to find the best example if besides attending this lecture, you will read the relevant text in the book. I am looking forward that you come back in Microsoft Teams with your questions, and we will discuss it in details there.